Hi, my name is Jacob Ashton, and this is my demonstration speech. I'm doing my demonstration speech on how to build an in-ground fire pit. I built an in-ground fire pit about a month ago, and it's a lot better because I was looking for fire pits, and all the above ground ones that you want to put outside are like 200, 250 plus. So I couldn't do it, it was out of my price range. But in-ground fire pits, when I paid my total price, when it all came out, it was about $85, and I bought about 10 or so extra bricks. So that's not too bad. So it probably would have been like 70, 65 if I would have bought the right amount of bricks. I started by myself because I thought I could do it in one day and be done with it. But after a couple hours of digging and trying to do all this stuff by myself, I realized that I needed help. So I asked my brother and my cousin to help me, and we did it in about a couple hours. Made it a lot faster, a lot less tedious and annoying, doing all the work, carrying all the rocks by yourself and pouring all the stuff. So if you can get more people, get more people. And you can build one any time of the year, pretty much. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Bad weather is going to make it harder because everything will shift, and snow, rain, it'll make it all slippery, and you won't let your concrete dry or your sealer dry right. So you might want to find when it's dry skies or clear skies so you don't have to worry about anything. They said your fire pit needs to be like at least 20 feet away from your house and 10 to 20 feet away from any structures, just out of the fact that it can ignite something, or the burning embers can fly out and land on something and can combust. So they say just watch out for that. I made mine about 12 inches wide, about 6 inches deep. You can make it how big you want, but you gotta talk to your city planner, because depending on what city you live on, there's different amounts of smoke that can come out of your backyard. If you're in a smaller, more compact with neighbors, then you can only have a certain big backyard fireplace, so you should check on that. Another thing is, when you're finding out where you want to place it, you should definitely contact them to make sure you're not digging where any lines or pipes or anything is going to be under your fire pit, because that can be bad, especially if it's a gas pipe. It can blow up. What you need to build a good one is you need a measuring tape, a concrete mixer, concrete, a leveler, maybe some filler sand, some leveling sand, fire resistant rocks, and the bricks for the outer walls and the inner walls inside. And you can do rocks on the outside, like a patio around it if you want. This costs you more money. And then, so after you get all that, then you'll be ready to start. And when I started mine, I messed up because I started mine on a hill. So make sure, if you can, find a level ground where you can, so you don't have to waste too much money on leveling and pouring too much time on it. Alright, so when you start, you're going to want to find your spot. Make sure there's no hanging trees or bushes that it can catch fire. And then when you find your spot, you're going to measure your distance, and then I would say about 12 inches is good, normal. And how deep you want it, it depends on you. The deeper you go, they say watch out, because they found that kids tend to fall in them because they don't see them because they're flat on the ground. So the deeper it is, the more dangerous and cautious and kid awareness you have to have. So, and once you find out how deep you want to dig, you dig it, and then after you dig out all the dirt, and you have your frame, and then you'll put the bricks in the inner to outline your inner wall. You can use concrete to make sure they don't move, or you don't have to if you don't want to. I didn't. When I was building it, I just put them straight in there to outline it, and then put the sand right after. But after you get your wall inside, you can either put your leveling sand, or you can start your outer body like surface. But I put my level sand, and then after you put your level sand, they say about 1 to 2 inches of lava rock, which is like fire resistant rock that you put your wood on top of. but I put about 3 or 4 inches and made it kind of higher. But before you put your rocks, you do gotta poke holes through the dirt in the ground about like 6 to 12 inches, just so when it does rain, your fire pit won't flood up. It'll drain out. And then when I was building mine, I had to use a lot of leveling sand because, like I said, I started on a hill, and so I messed up. And so make sure it is level though, because if it's not level, a lot of this stuff can go wrong, like the way it burns and the way the flames burn, it can be dangerous. So, but yeah. And so after you do all that, then you can start your perimeter. But what you need to do is make sure that all your stuff is sealed, because if it comes loose, like, I mean, you don't have to use concrete, you can use like caulking, like ceiling caulking. It works just as fine. But you need to make sure that your stuff is at least pretty sealed, somewhat not too loose, so you don't mess up anything. And any questions?
What do you burn in it? Is it for wood or charcoal? What kind of fireplace is it?
You can just use like firewood if you just want to do like a campfire. And it usually like the 12-inch one usually seats around like 3 people pretty good, like 4 pretty hot. So, but you can put like a grill top over it. I've seen people put just like a grill top and put charcoal in the bottom over the lava rocks and use it as a little grill. So you can use it as kind of a lot of stuff like campfires, whatever you want really.
Can you, is there anything that you can, like you said, there's sometimes a danger of kids falling in it. Is there anything you can use to cover the top of the surface so you could avoid any injuries?
Yeah, they said if you make it deep and and you have kids around and you want to keep them safe, they said you could actually just go ahead and buy the foot bricks and go ahead and just build like pretty much like a half wall around it, like a back wall, like about 3 or 4 feet high, so they don't run into it, so they have something to see and kind of, so they'll stop. You have a question?
Well, what kind of bricks is for a fire pit? Are they a certain type to resist the heat or what?
Oh yeah, you can just use. I bought the cheapest bricks, which were the 15 cents brick, 15% per brick, and they turn black. But I mean, you can buy nicer rocks that won't turn black, that are like fire resistant and color resistant changing. Like a lot of people use like granite. I saw a lot of people like outline it with granite. But I don't think it matters though. You can use the bigger bricks too, which will make it a lot more sturdy and not move at all.
So when you clean it, I mean, you're taking out all the old burned out cinders from the wood, and don't you pick up any of the lava rock or the sand with it? Do you got to maintain it, or you just kind of scrape off the best you could? Or?
Well, my fire pit, it usually, I live in Oklahoma, so weather's changing all the time. So it usually rains and washes my burnt stuff straight out my holes that I poked through. But if you want to, you can maintain it. They said you could just get a bucket and put your lava rocks in it. If you don't like them being black, you can just put them in there and it'll wash them, shake them around, and then put them back in. They said this, so people do maintain it, but you don't have to.
Okay.
So where did you build your fireplace at?
I built mine in my backyard, like about 7 feet from my pool. But that's the closest thing to it is my pool and it's water. So. And I did check with my city planner before to make sure I knew where my cable lines were, because I almost did dig on a cable line, but he marked it, so I moved it over about 5 feet.
So what would be the pros of having an in-ground pit versus one that's above ground? Is there any disadvantages or advantages?
The above ground has more risk factors because they say it's hard to control. Like, I mean, there are good ones, but at the same time, there's like gas-powered ones. But if you're using but those are expensive. If you get like just a regular one with the cap-on lid, they say it's kind of dangerous because it lets a lot of burning embers up. And since the in-ground is in-ground, it keeps all of it pretty much. And when the wind hits, it cuts off the flame. So
does it keep you warm, like on a cold night if you wanted to sit around the fire? Does it let out enough heat?
Yeah, they said if you build a 12-inch one in-ground, you could sit around 3 to 4 people, and it'll keep them all pretty warm. And if you plan to have more people, then you can just do like, if you plan to have like 7 people all the time, then you can just do like a 16-inch one or 18-inch one. Just make it a little bit bigger, because it is a little cooler than above ground ones, because it's a little below you.
Does the smoke from the hot fire keep the mosquitoes away?
Yeah, the smoke does. Yeah, I burn paper all the time when we had swimming parties and stuff. We just burn paper, burn whatever, just so we can keep the mosquitoes away.
So the in-ground, it sounds like it's more cost-effective, as far as the upper ground?
Oh yeah, the up ground is like 200, 250, and my total came out to like 85, but I bought extra bricks that I didn't need, so. And there's even cheaper ways than I did it. There's ways where you can only have to use 15 bricks, so that's like nothing. You just dig the hole, dig around, and literally just lay them as a base, kind of, and that works. That was the easiest one I found. Any more questions? Thank you. That's supposed to be